Welcome back, everybody. This is the Friends Podcast. We're here with another episode. Um, we're really excited for all the new listeners and the subscribers. Thank you, guys. Our Instagram is the Friends Pod, so make sure you guys check us out. We're everywhere, so that means Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, YouTube. And my name is Rod, and my co-host.
Yo, what's going on? My name is Matt. Like you said, man, subscribe, all that cool shit, man. Definitely tap in with us. Make sure you guys listen and all that cool shit, man.
For sure, we love you guys. So let's start this off pretty much how we always do. How was your week?
Not too bad, man. I'm just hungover right now. So it's gonna be sounding a little different right now, but went out to a little party last night for the Movement Festival in Detroit, which is like like a techno EDM type thing.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm just kind of coasting right now, trying to get some energy back in the room for the listeners and shit like that. But
Get them electrolytes.
yeah, I need those for real, for real. Yeah. So what's going on with you?
My week has been pretty good. I can't complain. Work as usual. Coming up with new topics, things like that around the podcast. This weekend, I'm probably gonna go back to the soccer game. Soccer game going on. The New York Red Bulls. If you ever in town in New York, New Jersey area, make sure you go check them out. It's always a good time.
Yeah, definitely. I think when I come out there, I definitely want to go see them just to see the energy. So hopefully the season's still going on. We can see what's going on with them. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how long the season goes on, but thank you for the listeners, and let's go ahead and get on to our topics. So the first one, it was the ban of IG filters. I know some of you influencers are real sick about this one. So apparently, they're banning on the AR filters, which is augmented reality for people who don't know, for Texans. Come after the Texas Attorney General, who was Ken Paxton. He filed a lawsuit accusing the platform of misusing facial recognition technology. I thought that was pretty interesting that they really went after Instagram. There's a lot of platforms like Snapchat and all the other platforms who be trying to change the face and how people look. And I was like, wow, like I didn't even know you can even pay like a lawsuit like that out.
Yeah, I mean that's really interesting. Because because they talk about like the facial recognition and the fact that people can, like, I guess when you use the filter, I guess people can, or like they take your data, like they take your facial, your face and stuff like that. So I think that's what it is. So I mean, of course, Instagram is and Facebook is a company, so you can always take some type of legal action. But this is kind of interesting because it's like I never thought something like this would happen.
I know people who be catfishing, they real mad right now. It's hard to catfish when you ain't got no AR.
Shit, they can still go on Facetune right quick, and they can still go on, some other shit, and then upload it. Like they just don't have it in the app, I guess. And this is only in Texas too, so I don't know how many. This impacts a lot of people. Texas is a big state, but it's just it's kind of out of the
Got to go
blue.
through a lot more loops.
Yeah, definitely a lot more loops where it's like, yo, I got to go to this app first. Let me go ahead and get my shit tuned up right quick. Then I'm gonna upload it. Which I don't know. How do you feel about filters in general? Like, do you feel like it's overused?
I feel like it's definitely overused, and it's one of those things where people don't really post pictures without the filter just because they don't think reality looks as good. Maybe that's just how I view it. They have to have like a filter on it to make their like if you just having a picture of like scenery or something like that, or whatever you're eating, or like they put filters and like they have like what Paris filters, they have dark filters, they have black and white filters, and I think that's more or less maybe there's a psychology behind it between like I've heard that like your mood and like what you try to portray. Like I've heard like people who use black and white filters a lot. That means they're probably kind of depressed. Like
That's funny because that's the one I used to always use all the time. Like when I was uploading pictures on the internet, I used to always use that black and white because I don't know. I think it just looked cool. Maybe I was depressed. I don't know.
Like that's kind of crazy. And the people who use like bright filters and things to try to highlight, they're probably more happy and upbeat,
Yeah.
um, more a little bit more extroverted. So I think it's a bit of a psychology to it, and just like it's like mentally what you see appealing. So I mean, you said you saw black and white as appealing. I mean, maybe you were depressed at the time, and like that's why you thought that. But I don't know. I feel like reality is like what's wrong with just like how shit look. Like you can just find like I don't see the point of it, to be honest. I guess that's your question. Like I don't see the point of like pinning filters on things. Like if you see something that looks great, then it looks great. Like what do I need a filter to enhance something that's already beautiful?
I mean, I feel you on that, but I mean, even think about just like magazines or different publications where they have pictures of celebrities or different people just like in the public eye. Like
Yeah,
they gonna
but a
use
lot of people like ain't in the public eye like that. Like
they're not.
I don't know. I feel like the influencer, like that realm and that area or that field or whatever. I guess you can say. I guess that is kind of like similar to the magazines back in the day, because that's people really go to these Instagram pages and stuff like that, and for these influencers instead of looking at magazines these days, in my opinion.
Well, all I'm saying is that they've been editing photos for decades, like before Instagram, because like everything that's on these magazine covers and shit like that, that shit is not straight up how the picture was taken. Like, you take the
Yeah,
picture.
Photoshop.
Yeah, I'm about to say you take the picture and you edit it somehow. I don't know how they did it back then, but you edit it and make the person maybe look slimmer, make their chin look a certain type of way, make they stomach like flatter. You know what I mean? Like shit like that. So I feel like it's been a thing before Instagram filters, but Instagram filters just made it more accessible for the normal person. And now it makes the normal person look at themselves and be like, damn, I need a filter because it's not the way I look regularly is not.
Yeah, them AR filters. I'm kind of glad about it because it just like it kind of forces people to kind of be true to themselves. It gave them the option to look like a lot of celebrities who do the Photoshop. Like you can have like it'd be I don't know if I should say it, but it is what it is. Fuck it. So it'd be like some woman with fat cheeks
Yeah.
and like no makeup on. Then I put a filter on, and it's literally like they got a slim ass face. It looks like they got a full set of makeup without actually having all the makeup and in the Photoshop. So it gave them that accessibility to kind of do that real easily. And I don't know, I feel like y'all just need to stop lying. Just hit the gym. If or like just put the actual makeup on. If you want to look like that, it's just why not just put the work in and just do it? Why you gotta fake your how you actually look and like who are you lying to? Like at the end of the day, it's like you're lying to yourself. Like that's not how you are. It's like why you gotta put that fake ass AR filter on? So man, shout out to the Texan Attorney General out there. Maybe this move on to some other states.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, I don't know if it'll be, like a countrywide thing or anything like that. But you say who are they lying to? They lying to themselves. But you have to admit that there is a beauty standard that exists in America and all around, where people feel like if I'm not this, then I'm not beautiful. So it's like that's why people, somebody with fat cheeks or somebody with like a long ass chin, and like you know what I mean. Like that's why people try to edit it, because it's like they know that that's not the quote unquote beauty standard.
Man, ladies, you are beautiful how you are. You don't have to appear like big woman, skinny woman. Like you don't need to try to appeal because I don't know. All these standards are just by social media and all that type of shit anyway. Like just be body positive. Be who you are.
They're trying to keep up with the Joneses, and it is what it is. Like, but you're right though. Like everybody is beautiful in their own way, and
And I kind of like the aspect of the idea about the information, take information, because these websites do have too much of your data. Like for them to be able to just looking at your face, you can unlock your phone. I'm sure like there's someone like selling that data and just sending it to all these different companies and your fingerprint. Like it's just too much. Like we also definitely need to like we need to be getting paid for our data. Like if we give information like that, we should be getting paid. They shouldn't be able to just sell that information off. Like we should have a say in that.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, but it do always be in the terms and conditions. When you first sign up for an app, like they tell you, but who reads the terms and conditions? Like when they sign up for some shit, they just trying to get into the app and do what they do. So it's like they tell us, but also it ain't no telling how much they really get paid from selling our shit. Like it's probably like,
They get paid millions,
yeah, I was thinking millions,
billions.
billions. Yeah, like it has to be up there. So it's like that would be nice if we could get paid at least some type of percentage, but they just gonna keep doing what they do because we agree to these terms and conditions, and it's like,
Maybe they should just make internet free. Maybe that might be the payment.
maybe I don't know.
Internet, any type of media, just should just be free if they're gonna just sell our data. Stop send out give it, making us pay subscriptions on top of you selling our data.
Yeah, I mean that could work. That could possibly work. I mean, I feel like uh, I feel like they could still pay us too because I feel like internet being free. Like what I pay like $40 for the internet, and I feel like the data that's sold, or if I was like on social media like that, the data that's sold for me is definitely worth more than $40 because these things help companies make decisions on like um
I mean, it's 40 a month,
yeah, but
so it's
like
like
give me
it
more
all
than
adds
that.
up.
Give me about 200. You know what I'm saying? Like give me about because like I
One
said,
flat fee.
yeah, give me something like, or I guess based on how much you sell for me. Like I don't know how it works. Like, do they just take your face? Do they take your like location, search
I feel like
history?
all that.
Yeah, like, I feel like they take everything. So it's like, go ahead
That's
and
what
throw me something. Give me something.
that's what the census does when they be trying to get information out of people households. They're trying to figure out how many people live there, what race they are. I feel like that's all. That's just data that's just being sold and stored.
You think so?
Yeah. So
I don't know.
yeah, because I mean that's very valuable information to somebody for sure. Like a company, they want to know what people are in this neighborhood, how many people. So when they have like a product or something like that that may appeal to that area, they'll be like, oh, maybe we should start selling more in this area. Like, why do you think? I don't know. I feel like why is there so many McDonald's in the hood? In a sense,
That's a good question. That's
like
a
maybe they're getting that data about how many niggas is living in this neighborhood.
yeah. I mean, I feel like that's a conversation about food deserts and the fact that they don't put a lot of the times they don't have nutritional type of food in low
They
income
know it's cheap.
neighborhoods. Yeah, it's cheap, but you know what I'm saying. You can get some vegetables for cheap. You can get some shit for cheap, but I feel like they just.
Vegetables ain't cheap.
I
Like
mean,
going to Whole Foods and inflation, like vegetables and fruit, man, that shit expensive as hell right
I
now.
mean, Whole Foods is high in general though. That's the thing. If you go
I
to if
mean,
you go to
any grocery
farmers
store.
market, like if you go to like Easter Market in Detroit, like it's gonna you'll be good. Like you go to like some type of not corporation like fucking Whole Foods, you'll be
Price
good.
is definitely going up wherever you go, though.
Yeah, yeah. At this time, like in this economy, yeah, for sure. But yeah, like you said, overall, like I think that this is something that's good that Texas did, and hopefully it spreads around just so they can stop taking our data and just so they can stop lying to us and lying to themselves about who they are on social media. Like it's not cool. Like nobody likes a liar, especially on social media. Like it's not cool. Like just be yourself and post yourself. So
Yeah, that's really what I like get out of. It's like be yourself. Um, no, you can't like have all this data without like proper permission and things like that for the companies. Like they're just making more money off of us. Um, but I understand a lot of people. You're gonna do what you want to do. It's like if you want that filter, it's like why should anybody be able to say no, you can't have it as well on the side of the creative.
right, yeah,
So I mean, there's many different sides ways you can look at this, but overall, I'm not mad at the rule. Like the government and these companies have too much of our data, and we're just not being compensated for that information.
yeah. Because some people gonna hate this shit. Some people's gonna be down bad
Yeah, I've seen the backlash. I've been like people in Texas, they are pissed.
over a Instagram filter. Like it's
Yeah,
crazy.
because they had like a picture of like I saw this one post. They had a picture of someone with the filter and someone without the filter, and I was like, damn, this is night and day.
For real.
Like this shit need to be this shit need to be all over like this rule, because man, the catfish is at an all time high right now.
Man, look at the shit that we get mad about as a society. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's money in I think OnlyFans.
Yeah, I mean, shit. We don't care about. I don't care about no damn filters when I'm watching videos like that. Like, I don't give a fuck about what. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not. We don't need no filters on OnlyFans videos. But anyway, let's move on before I get too deep into that. So let's kind of talk about posthumous albums. So we've seen so many posthumous albums because a lot of rappers have died, unfortunately, from gun violence and from overdoses and things like that. So posthumous albums are definitely still a thing. I remember like the first time that I really got in tune with like what that was when Tupac was releasing those albums after he died, and Biggie was releasing
Yeah,
those albums.
Biggie Life After Death
Hmm.
for sure.
Yeah.
Then they also had the Don Illuminati, the 7 Day Theory,
Hmm.
Tupac Machiavelli album.
Now he was alive. Wasn't he alive during that?
Nah, this is a posthumous album.
That's posthumous. I never knew that.
Yeah.
I swear, cause I thought that was before. I thought that was before All Eyes on Me, but I guess I must be tripping. But um, yeah. At any rate, so I guess the question is like, how do you feel about posthumous albums? Like, do you run to listen to them when I guess when somebody's dead?
I can't. I feel like a lot of the majority of the albums that are posthumous. It's like, of course, as a fan, you want to listen to the music, but you kind of feel a way that the artist didn't. He's not here to put it out and like lay out the album the way he would like to,
Right.
and that someone's behind the scenes that's just releasing this the way the way they see it, and it may not be the way that the artist had intended it for it to come out. But it's also another thought about like when you think about some of these artists' families. Some people just go too soon, like Pop Smoke. He didn't get to release that big ass album like debut, um, and that album, I'm sure, like it was huge. I'm sure it did a lot for his family. Um, it paid off probably a lot of bills and people, and it put his family in position. So I'm sure he will want that
Yeah.
to at least leave
No,
behind
I
that.
think that's true. Like, in that aspect, yeah, I'm definitely glad that they can get paid off of it. But it's only if like some people don't have no great relationship with their families, when they die. So it's like if it's somebody that they had a great relationship, I'm glad that they got, some type of compensation for their family members' music. But if not, like some of these parents be like who is that? Aaliyah's like uncle or something like that. I can't remember her name, but like he was doing some shit with Aaliyah's music, some shiesty shit, and I don't like when they get the money when they can take advantage of they family member being a superstar. So in terms of that, I don't like that. But in terms of just listening to posthumous albums, I'm not really listening because I think Rob made a good point where it's like they didn't sequence the album the way that they would have sequenced it before they died. Like the music, the beat's not gonna sound the same. Like the verse is not gonna be in the right place. So it's like maybe they do have pre-recorded songs that they already did and shit like that. But to me, I'm just not. It's not something that I run to um, just when somebody dies or even after they die. Like I'm not. I'd rather listen to what they put out just as themselves.
And I kind of what I really don't like about it is when like you're talking about the family aspect of it. Like after the person die, like it's like they just have albums and albums like 5 to 10 years later. Like we still hearing Biggie verses and um like right now we're still hearing like Triple X Tentacion like drop albums and features and music. It's just like it's at a certain point it does get like I feel like it's too much. It's like if you're gonna put out the music, maybe do it pretty soon, like after the person's like, because they probably already got some songs that are already kind of cooked up together. But at a certain point, it does just seem like they're just like grabbing at scraps, like of like what they record it in the studio and they're just trying to throw them into like different songs and features. Like with this Triple H Tentacion and Kanye West song, it's just like they never communicated before at all. It's like they didn't know each other at the time, so it's just a weird mix up. It's weird mashup.
Yeah,
Like
and
especially with people like they didn't even know, or even Aaliyah and Drake. Um, I remember we were talking about that. It was like that song "Don't Sound Right" or
oh, it was the
whatever.
weekend.
It was the weekend. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
I remember you saying that. But
yeah.
just like some of these songs just don't sound right.
That's the thing, like especially when Aaliyah ain't recorded nothing since 2001, so it's like it's not gonna sound right in today's sense of like our shit right now is just so advanced with how we can record and like mixing and mastering. Like it's a totally different sound. So like if they died like 20 plus years ago, the shit not even gonna sound the same way unless you like really remix. Like if unless you had an original file, you could really remix and remaster it. So it's just not an enjoyable listening experience to me.
Yeah, it's too much time afterwards. Like,
Hmm.
I do agree. Like the Life After Death, like that was a great album, but it kind of came out like right after it happened. So I'm sure he had a lot of those tracks kind of done and get ready to come out anyway. Or like the Machiavelli album, or like that album was pretty close. They had the Big L, the Big Picture album. I like albums that come out right, like closely, cause like I feel like they're just like they probably already had a lot of these tracks already kind of done, and they was already kind of in the process of releasing that album anyway.
Possibly, but it's just
Like
like
yeah, possibly.
shit changes. Like I think plans change when, especially like these days. So like if somebody died, like a Mac Miller, right, or like a
Yeah, with that Circles album,
yeah, like I never heard that album because I was just like I don't know if that's what he really would have dropped next after Swimming. Like I don't know.
he was definitely like in his R&B singing bag, soul kind of style. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Is that what the album sounded like?
like Swimming did.
Yeah,
Um,
it did. It did.
yeah, this one was like it was still along the lines of like Swimming. It was still kind of melodic, and he definitely talked a lot about his mental space a lot. Um, with Swimming, like his albums start getting very deep. I remember, I mean, this is kind of off topic, but the evolution of Mac Miller, where like as a kid, and it was just fun, like with his friends, and it was about the kids and just having a good time and like going to parties, hanging out, frozen pizza, like Kool-Aid, like just chilling. And then like it just over time it just seemed like his music got more dark.
I could see that. It just got more introspective, where it was like he was talking about like real surface level shit at first, but then like yeah, he kind of started getting into his brain. Like this is how I'm thinking. Like I'm on these drugs and like I'm just fucked up, like mentally. Like
Yeah, he started releasing like beat tapes, and the beat tapes would be very just different, and you could tell just him trying and testing. Like I really like the evolution of Matt Miller. Like he was one of my favorite artists um, before he passed, and with some of these albums that just can't that's coming out, and the music that's coming out afterwards is with the family and stuff. It's just like I'm just not listening to any more like of the music after, like unless it's like some type of maybe hip hop rap kind of music. But even then, it's just like I'm sure he had like a lot of deep stuff that he just never. Cause I just heard like he used to always say he had hundreds of songs, and you will always see all these artists go to his studio all the time. So I'm sure he has like hella music that he recorded before he left. But I don't like the shit where they be trying to grab like his. I feel like the family like they grab certain verses, certain songs
right,
that
right.
they might like, and kind of trying to put it with like on top of new beats with producers maybe that they agree with, instead of like just some of those songs I feel like he probably got in the vault that he's done and projects maybe that the family don't agree with his like he's talking about or his context, like if it was some of those like albums where like he was working with other people, and I want to hear some of those, to be honest. Like that's the shit I want to hear, like those songs where he was actually in the studio working with those artists. Like I'm sure there's a lot of heat there, and he probably was there. He got was probably was very deep and fooling around talking about. what he wanted to come out like at the time. Like maybe he didn't want to come out, but
Yeah, because I'm sure he probably got full projects with like I don't know, like Earl Sweatshirt or like somebody like that. Like and he probably has full shit with them, like maybe like a
yeah,
Mad
just
Lib
a bunch of
tape.
people.
Like
Even people you wouldn't think of, like he was in the studio with like Future, and I know he was in the studio a lot with Absol and
hmm
Schoolboy. Like I'm sure this hella like music that's just in his vault that the family will never release.
yeah, and I think just to wrap it up, like I said, like if I just want to hear what they would have released because I think that's interesting. I feel like it's interesting what people like how people do their career, like how people carry out their career. Like Drake dropped what like Take Care, and he was like, oh okay, well let me drop this album. Let me drop Nothing Was the Same. Oh, let me drop If You like like that's interesting. Like the chronological order of the albums that they choose to drop to me. So it's like when a family drops a posthumous album and it's just like not what the person would have dropped. It's just like
Exactly.
it's not. I can't really explain it, but it just don't. To me, it just don't. It don't feed my soul. Like, cause it was just like he didn't even want to. He probably never wanted this shit to be heard ever. Um, but I guess when you die, like you really don't have no say no more. Like it's really up to your family and the people that own your estate. And it's like,
Yeah, it's that's the thing. Is like a lot of these artists, they be so young, they ain't really got it written out
yeah,
how they would like their business to be ran, how their music to be released, who has control, who's taking over their masters, who has like access to do what they want. I mean, I guess I'd rather it be the family than the label, because the label just gonna man, they gonna whore you out pretty much. They
hmm
gonna pimp you. They gonna pimp your entire life, especially if you was a top artist that made billions of dollars. Like these labels so nasty, they might even like that better when you go because they can do literally whatever they want.
yeah, hell yeah. They can choose what they want, choose their own songs, choose the whole album, drop a double album, motherfucking merch. Like they can do whatever. So it's like, yeah, I
Exactly.
guess like,
Like your whole likeness
yeah,
is that just like it's bought.
hmm yeah. So yeah, I think that's a good point. At least it's the family doing it. But I'm just hoping that family member is deserving of that compensation for when that shit is dropped. But with that being said, let's go ahead and move on to the next topic. So we kind of want to talk about a story that we saw. Um, Pete Rock had reached out, or not reached out. I wish he would reach out. Pete Rock, if you're listening, come on the podcast. But so he had
Yeah, I want to know your reasoning more behind what you're about to say. What Matt's about to say about it.
okay. So yeah, so what Pete Rock was saying is, let me read the quote from him just because I want to make sure I get this shit right. Got to get it right, and especially for like for producing legend like Pete Rock, you got to get it right. So let me pull that shit back up. I'm gonna have to cut this shit out. Damn, where I put that shit at? Damn, where did I put that? Oh, here we go. So here's a full quote from Pete Rock. He says, "Well, so he's talking about drill rap specifically, and this is what he had to say about drill rap. That's trash hop, not hip hop. I've been told y'all this kind of shit. I don't care. Call me what you want, but that kind of hip hop is doo doo, and it disrupts the soul. I told y'all that already, man. LOL, SMH." And then so he continued, nobody speaks up on this trash. Drill rap, not even for the birds or the streets, it's the result of greed. People with no talent and the destruction of the culture. Y'all never
No
see the play.
talent.
Yeah, no talent. Y'all never see the play when it's happening. Everyone complains, but does not speak up and say a word. Now this how we going out? It's on social media, but who is really promoting this? Talk about that, SMH. So
So these labels promoting that drill music, but the kids eating it up.
they are, and yeah, so and I think that's really that's a conversation that we had on here before. Like, what does the label promote? Like, what is the labels like?
Like
Their
all that drill music is promoted, it's hyped up, um, but it's getting a lot of views. And then now we're seeing all these cases where all these artists are going to jail or getting caught up by what they're saying in their rhymes.
yeah,
It's just like, but that's what you promoting though. Like these labels, they're putting money and all those dollars behind it. It's like maybe they shouldn't Maybe that's not something that artists should highlight. They just not talk about that kind of stuff. I mean, or there's different ways to, um, like what you were saying before, like in one of our past episodes, like you just use different words or different terminology that's just not so obvious.
Yeah, that or just not. Sometimes I like rappers that talk about bad shit, negative shit, but then tell you about the negatives versus drill music. They make it sound like it's popping, like they make it sound hot. So it's like I feel like that's one of the issues. Like they make all this shit that's quote
Yeah, they
unquote.
make killing sound good.
Yeah, they do, and it's just like
It's
that.
not struggle music. It's literally like it's shooting shit music.
And the label's not looking for somebody that's really telling the truth about like, okay, this is what, okay, you killed somebody, but then their mama cried, and then like they have a whole funeral for him, and then his kids can't eat no more because he
That sound like a Meek Mill song.
it could be. I could be quoting Meek Mill right now, but you know what I'm saying? Like you got to talk about both sides. Really, it's really only one side to that shit when you really think about it. Like, I guess as I'm getting older, like I realized that a lot of this shit is not cool. Like, it's not cool that people be dying from gun violence. Like, that's not cool. Especially when it's like senseless, when it's some gang shit. Like that shit is not cool because you from a different neighborhood. So it's like people don't tell the truth about that. People just be saying like, I caught a op, like what I'm saying, I fucked this bitch, like all that type of shit. Like it sound
I'm
cool.
smoking on a pack that's somebody's family member.
Yeah, smoking on the
Like other
pad.
people ain't gonna hear that and have an issue with it. Like,
Yeah,
cause someone they will do something to you. It's like, I mean, like the most obvious one is with Chief Keef and all that. It's like them family members. I'm sure, like they're upset, and I'm sure there's neighborhoods that people can't go to and they can't be in that like area anymore because you can't like go around like just disrespecting people. And even the thing with Nipsey, where like the dude disrespected like his name and the grave and how he ended up, um, they ended up catching up with him. So it's just certain things you just can't do it. Like you can't just go around just start talking about somebody's death and just take it lightly. And that's just everyone being so desensitized, and everyone's talking about smoking on a family member. It's just like someone's gonna feel away, and they're gonna want revenge, and that's really it's just a cycle. It's like we need to end this cycle.
like it gets to the point where it's like, do people realize how valuable life really is? Like we literally only get to be here for one time. Like it's not no, we're not cats. We don't have 9 lives. Like this is it. Like once you out of here, you can't be brought back. I mean, depending on what you believe in your religion and if you believe in
Yeah, some people
heaven.
might believe in reincarnation,
Yeah, some people might believe in all that type of shit, but to me, I
but
feel
you might
like
be reincarnated as a bug.
that's what I'm saying. As a motherfucking ant, a cockroach, like something like that, a fly. So it's like, to me though, I feel like this is it. Like we only get this one life, so it's like, and I don't think people take that into account. The fact that life is just valuable and precious. So it's like joking about people dying and like you taking people's lives is like tell the truth about like what it really was. Tell the truth about like first, first I feel like people need to analyze like why did you feel the need to take that person's life, and I think that we'll get kind of far if we talk about that because it's like a lot of times people will probably realize like, damn, that shit was senseless. Like I did that shit for no reason. I did that shit just because I was trying to rob him and he had something that I wanted, or he just from a different neighborhood that I don't fuck with. Like I think people need to start having those conversations, especially through music, because I think through music that'll help the people that's influenced to do things by music. So let's talk about the negatives.
I mean, it could be the mental health aspect, having the access. I mean, I feel like a lot of it that stems from at least um, urban community, black communities, pretty much. It's the fact that families don't have resources, and parents have to work multiple hours, long hours, which even leaves the kids at home alone. They ain't really got no guidance. They go to the school system, they're getting teased, And when kids get teased, that's mental health issue, just like stemming. Like then now there's just camera and social media, and it's just like if they ain't got it, they're gonna find some way to get it, whether it's stealing or going for someone who does have it and pretty much is stealing they shit. I mean,
Or just trying to sell something illegal just to get that money to get it. Like, it's definitely. So yeah, I can see that. I can see the mental health thing. Like, I can see because we kind of
it,
had.
it, it comes from definitely just not having resources, in my opinion. Like
Yeah, yeah,
if
yeah, yeah.
people had the proper resources and money like given to them, and families like didn't have to spend, like there was more of a work life balance at work and people got like a fair rate, um to just live like 40 hours to come home and not have to have two or three jobs, just to get by. Like I feel like that would change a lot of things for urban and black communities.
No, I totally agree. I wouldn't necessarily say. I don't want to say given to them. Like people shouldn't. People should. Everybody should have to work for what they get. But I feel like definitely it's peoples and communities that's underserved. They're under.
But people should get a fair wage.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah,
Like back in the day, like people can just go work at a plant or something like that, and it was multiple of those jobs.
yeah.
At least from what I heard from my family and like the older generations that came before me, it's like it wasn't hard for if you got out of high school or something like that to go get a job, and you can go and work in every day, and you can get a house, you can get a car,
Hmm.
you can have a family. You just go in and you come back. It's like not today. It just doesn't seem like that's really the case. Like you seem like most people, like if you don't have the education, you're kind of just looked down upon, and you have to get multiple jobs. Like they want you to have at least at the bare minimum a high school education, or they want you to go and get a trade, like at the bare minimum.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think that's why this conversation can get deep because it's like Pete Rock said that, about drill music, but it's like you had to realize where these people is coming from, the people that make the drill music, and it's like okay, we got to talk about the money situation. You got to talk about the neighborhoods, the food deserts, like I was talking about earlier. Like you got to talk about all those things because everybody got to the point that they're at because of all the experiences that they went through, and so like they just feel like since they from here, this is what they seen, so they gotta talk about that. But it's just like why? Why is that why is that what it is in that neighborhood? Why is that? You know what I mean? So it's really you gotta think about it in a deeper way. Because people not just making this shit just because it's cool. A lot of people making this shit because this is what they do, this is what their life is, and this is the shit that they do like on a daily basis. So
And that's what's making money for the kids. It's like that's what people are listening to. So if talking about that is making money, then they're gonna keep talking about it. They're gonna keep portraying that image, and yeah, it just keeps this cycle going on. But I guess the next question that kind of it still relates, but does old head advice hold weight?
I mean, I think it depends on who the old head is though, because I feel like some old heads are wise and some old heads are just old. So it's like some old heads might think like they still 20. So it's like it depends on who
Right.
it's coming from.
It has
Um,
to come from someone that's like experienced and has done something for the culture, for the music scene, and has those accolades, has that catalog for them to come out and give proper advice. Like Pete Rock is someone who's done a lot, so maybe some of the things it could be hate, but I feel like majority of the things he's talking about is absolutely correct in a sense.
yeah, I think so. And I don't think Pete Rock is a hater. I never viewed him as somebody that's like
I'm
I
just basing on like someone like the younger generation, how they not only when they see an old person talking about them, but oh, just he just old. He don't know what's going on today. Like he has no knowledge of how things work, and they pretty much just discredit old people. Which that's not how. Like you got to learn from some of these older generations, because they have a wealth of knowledge that can be tapped into, and it can help them in their career because a lot of these new kids is their career come and going like within 6 months, and then it's on to the next artist.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
like maybe you should have listened to some of these old heads who had long careers before you.
Yeah, and I think that they went through those things. So like I always quote this line where Jay Z said, "Hove did that." So hopefully you don't got to go through that. Like people did shit and made mistakes, so we don't have to make them. Like learn from that.
Right.
And when Pete Rock is saying these things, like on on his social media on his platform, like he's not saying that shit for his health. He's saying that shit because this is something that he really see. Like he probably been thinking this, but he probably fed up at this point, and he was just like, all right, I gotta say something about this.
He loved music so much in hip hop. He
Yeah,
just don't want to see it going down this path. But I mean, there are some other like old heads like Eminem. Like when he first came back, he had this Kamikami album. Um, and he went after just a lot of different artists.
yeah, yeah,
Like it was just like some people, it just wasn't even, in my opinion, deserved. Um, like the list goes on in that case. Like he went after, I think, what was it, Sean C, Tyler the Creator, Lil Pump, Lil Xan, Lil Yachty, Vince Staples, 21 Savage, Migos, Young and May, Iggy Azalea, Die Antwoord. Like when an artist of like that caliber, like when he comes out of album, like comes out of hibernation, and it's just like an album filled with like just disses towards like a younger generation. It's like I can't get with that. Like that's like you're too old to be like that's the way you're gonna send your message. It's like you have a lot of different avenues. You have all this money, success. You could have reached out to some of these artists personally and like had a conversation to help them in their
yeah.
career
If you really want to
instead of
help,
like, yeah, if you really want to help, like there's a way that you can help. Like you don't gotta go on a record that a lot of people's like want to listen to and just start talking shit. It's like that's how you think you're helping hip hop. Like that's how you think it's gonna make the next generation listen to you by saying they're like an idiot or their music's trash or like they suck dick. Like I mean, like he's one of those artists who that's what he pretty much be saying in his music. Like he just go in and just I don't know. I can't rock with an old head like that.
so do you feel like it's the way he said it, or what is it? Is it what he said? Like what's the issue when it comes to old heads where it's like we don't we not listening to that shit? Like what's
It's
the
like you can't make
criteria?
an album just like of over 10 people, like of all the people that you hate. Cause like, I mean, that's hater shit. Like, I mean, like, just be real. Like, you just hating. It's like all these people can't be bad, or like some people just might need like a little knowledge and guidance from like an OG. Like some of these names here is just like Tyler the Creator. That obviously was a wrong take,
For sure.
and Tyler the Creator is definitely he's one of the best musicians like of this time and like producers of this time. So that was obviously wrong. 21 Savage, very successful artist. Vince Staple is a very huge lyricist and like he puts a lot of words, a lot of songs, like he puts a lot of thought. So I'm surprised Eminem went for him. Migos maybe just doesn't like the flow and like how the triplet kind of the verses and maybe like what Migos kind of pushing forward in the culture. Maybe he just kind of had a little bit of hate on that. Um, Young and May, I mean, she was a bit of a lyricist, just like like really is like you just handle her because she's a dyke or something.
I don't
And
know.
like Lil Yachty, okay, like Lil Pump, Lil Xan, like I get those kind of names because like we see with their career, like it just didn't go anywhere. But like half the people you name are like decent artists. Like it just makes you look like a hater, and it doesn't age well.
Yeah, like, and I read the Pete Rock quote to y'all, so like y'all understand that there's ways to say things, and I feel like sometimes it depends because like if I don't know if you familiar with Kevin Samuels, but he will say things.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, he will say
He did
things.
just pass, so
Yeah, yeah, a couple weeks ago. So
he
he,
was in an Atlanta episode too. He
oh,
was
was he?
firing that. Yeah, that the season finale of Atlanta.
Ah, okay, okay.
Yeah. That show was like that show's genius.
Yeah, but he was somebody. He was an old head that would be giving advice to, black women. As of
Also, black male. It wasn't just black women.
I know I'm talking about as of late. Like lately, it's been black women. But people
I
would.
don't know. When you look at his page, he was talking to male and female.
He was. I mean, I feel like
I feel like the shit that was highlighted was mostly women though.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But he talked to both.
But my point in saying that is that people are mad about him because of how he said it. But there was some, like, if you really cut through the bullshit that he was saying, there was things that he was saying that was absolutely like that was definitely valuable. And so I think that people need to really reel it back and say things in the right way, in a more acceptable way, I guess. I don't know, but I feel like that's also just like,
It's entertainment.
yeah, it's definitely entertainment. But I don't know. Like I think old
Like
head
he wasn't a
shit.
therapist. Like that's the difference.
Yeah, he was just somebody that was doing some shit. Like he just was a life coach or some shit like that. So I don't know. I think it does matter how you say things sometimes and how people will receive the message. Because if you're talking to young people are not trying to hear that shit. Like you just have to say it in a certain way. Like Pete Rock didn't say it in no condescending way. Like he didn't say it in no like, man, fuck all y'all niggas type of way. Like he just said this shit is dangerous for the community. Like that's
In hip hop, exactly.
that's what he was saying. So I
He
think
didn't
that's
go specify certain names. He didn't name a million different young artists who's fucking shit up. He just said this is just not good for hip hop and just our culture in general.
yeah. So shout out to P Rock for saying that, man. Definitely a legend in his hip hop shit. And we appreciate you for speaking out. Cause there's people like him that could really, affect change, in the hip hop game and the culture. So shout out to him.
I mean, there's definitely like you was mentioned Jay Z. Um, he was one of those artists like back in the day where he was talking about autotune, the death of autotune, and all that kind of music. He was so wrong in that case.
So wrong.
And I mean, now, I mean, that could just be a period as hate.
I think it
Like,
could, because I feel like T Pain was just probably selling hella records, and he was just like, "What the fuck is this shit?" Like a New York boom bap type nigga just listening to auto tune. Like it's not. Back then, it was just crazy, but now, like you said, he missed a mark on that one. Even Nas said hip hop is dead in 2006, and hip hop is in a. I feel like it's in a good place right now.
you see, it's way better than it was before. Like, we're the top music.
Yeah,
I would say, like, industry, like, we're hip hop is at the top right now. Like, we are pop. We are what's popular.
you're right, but at what cost though? Because just like P Rock said, like this drill
I mean, it's at
music.
a great cost because, like, think about how many artists are making money and providing for their families. Like, they're making a lot more money. They're making more deals. Like, you have Rihanna, you have Jay Z, you have Kanye, like, who was able to create these pretty much $1 billion type businesses based just on their likeness and what they did with music. So hip hop is moving forward in that way, in that regard,
It
in my
is.
opinion.
It's good for them, but like just like P Rock said, this motherfuckers getting locked up. This motherfuckers dying. All over the music. I mean, it's probably not all over the music, but like that's what I'm saying. At what cost? Because like
There's a
people
lot of
losing
people
their
going to
life.
jail.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So it's like all these RICOs and cases where conspiracy types things. Like why?
They really got Pooh Shiesty.
Yeah, we the hottest. Or not we, because I'm not no hip hop artist, but hip hop is the hardest and the most biggest industry right now in music. So it's like at what cost though? Like how can we get to a place where we still big, but at the same time we doing some positive shit?
All right, so make sure that you guys subscribe to the channel and let us know what you think for sure about this debate that P Rock put out in the atmosphere.
Hmm.
Is drill music trash? Is he just old head that maybe just don't know what the young generation is going through, or maybe he's right and the things that he say is what's good for hip hop and moving it forward. So the next thing that we're going to talk about, this is a very popular segment that we do, the love and hate game. We'll talk about whether we love or hate, and we're just gonna choose out a few singles, me and Matt, and then we're gonna have a discussion. And really, this segment here is we like to point out like some songs and singles so you guys can check it out and tell us what you think.
So the first single that I want to talk about this week is by Lobby Boys, which is Jim Jones and who was it? Help me out. Who was it? Jim
It's the
Jones
Lobby
and
Boys. Man, put some respect on the Lobby Boys' name.
okay, who?
Jim Jones and Mano.
And Mano and
You're
Mano. Yeah. So
that's man, you already know that song is really popping right now. Like I fuck with it. Slot and it even featuring Fabio.
mhm.
Fabio Foreign, like he's definitely in his pocket as always on these type of drill type of records. I know we were talking about that a bit with Pete Rockin earlier. But no, I really rock with this record. I feel like it's a more mature, still street record. It was even Mano on there talking about I fuck with escorts. He being real to himself. I can't be mad at that. So anything like Jim Jones like kind of touch these days, it just seemed like he's got that touch where he's just in tune with the youth and just how he's transcended so many different generations. Um, I rock with the progression of Jim Jones and Miss Lobby Boys is just another extension, so I fuck with it.
So love or hate.
I love it.
Okay.
So I guess the next song I'm gonna go on. Well, the first song for me, First Class by Jack Harlow.
This one is cool. This one's cool. Just like the last one we talked about from Jack Harlow. It's okay. It's not something that I run to listen to like at any time or any mood that I'm in. I do like the sample because the sample's "Glamorous" by Fergie. Like that shit. I think people need to keep it 1,000 and like admit that "Glamorous" by Fergie was fire. Like it really
I
was.
don't think anyone ever said it wasn't.
Yeah, like we can't.
I never heard that.
Yeah, let's not act like yeah. I'm just in case somebody is acting like it wasn't fire, like it was. But apart from the sample, like it's not something that I'm like I said, it's not something I'm running to listen to. So I'm gonna say hate, but I do love the sample.
Obviously, the white boy he loved that song, so I mean he sampled it.
Yeah, he do. He definitely do. Which for a good reason though. It's a good record. But let me go ahead and move into the next one. I found it interesting that this is actually still on the iTunes charts right now. It's pretty high. So let's talk about DJ Khaled's "We Taking Over." That's with Akon, T.I., Rick Ross, Fat Joe, Birdman, and Louisiana.
Man, this was a classic right here. Back in the day, this was some years ago from DJ Khaled. Yeah, I mean, back then, like I could say, I mean, I fucked with the record. I
Yeah,
can't say it's a record I really listen to these days anymore, but I mean, the standout verse is definitely Lil Wayne. That like I can probably pretty much kind of still quote, but
yeah.
um, I know it had Akon like it was great hook. DJ Khaled yelling on the track, "We the best,"
We
and I mean that.
nigga.
Like yeah, I mean it's still moving on for. I mean people are still tuning in and listening. And I can't hit on this. I guess I would say I love it.
Me personally, I gotta say hate just because the only verse that I really care about, no disrespect to Fat Joe, 'cause I feel like Fat Joe slid too. I can't remember T.I. verse like that. But Lil Wayne verse was just like, man, like
There's too many verses on here.
it was kind of like a like what's that song by Nori? Fucking banned from TV. Like it was one of them type of things where there's a bunch of rappers just rapping on that shit. But
Put all the just the top niggas on just one song.
yeah, that's his specialty though. That's DJ Khaled's specialty. So um,
Yeah,
yeah,
that is his career.
yeah. Let's move on to the next one.
So the next one I will put out there in the atmosphere. That's my word for this episode, in the atmosphere. That Kanye West and Triple X Tentacion, True Love, that just came out recently. What you think?
Um, Same thing with the Jack Harlow. Like I like the beat. It has that like that classic hip hop drum beat. That drum sample from like so many people have used
Posthumous.
it. Yeah, yeah, it's definitely posthumous because XXX is not here with us no more. But in terms of the song, I probably wouldn't play it again. It was cool though. Like XXX did his shit on the on the hook and whatever, and then Kanye was just rapping and shit like that. Like it was cool. I say hate though.
Kanye was yelling.
Nah, I don't think
I
he was
didn't hear the
yelling.
song.
Nah, I said he was straight. He was like rapping on that shit. I don't know if he was yelling. But it was okay. I say hate though just because I'm not gonna play it again on purpose.
Was Kanye flexing
Um,
about his businesses? Because I mean, that's all he really rap about these days.
yeah, I think like a little bit. I can't really remember like exactly what he was saying, but I was more paying attention to the beat because
I like the Kanye where he like rapped about like us as a people and not so much flashy everything and name dropping all these different artists.
yeah, me too.
Yeah, I liked when it was a bit more of a concept behind it and
Like a little bit
not
more
just being
conscious.
a little bit more conscious. Like I kind of miss that kind of Kanye. So when he gets in that bag, that's the type of shit that I like from Kanye. Not and then it's like, oh, I know this white artist from blah 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 some different area or like Walt Disney and blah blah. It just be like, I mean, it's cool, like for sure, but I mean, I don't know. I just feel like that's only boosting his ego. It doesn't. It's not nothing I want to do. It's like you just keep that to yourself. Like boost your own self, nigga.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's cool to boost yourself up and love yourself, but like for every record to be like that, it's not. Who is that helping but yourself? Like you said, like it's
Yeah,
for.
it's just hyping your own. It's hyping your own head, nigga. Like it's like that's cool. It's like, I mean, but that's like a lot of rappers. Like it's really all that hype shit and talking about who they fucked, who they bigger than, who they better than. Instead of really talking about a message or what is the song about really?
No, I feel that. I definitely feel that. So let me go ahead and move into the last one, which is the last one for me, which is Post Malone and Sway Lee's "Sunflower," which is interesting because this is still on the charts too. Yeah, so how you feel about that one? Love or hate?
See, this is a cool bop. I don't know when I hear this song, it's just super relaxing, like the beat and the vibe of it. So I fuck with that like type of aspect. So I mean, I guess I'm loving all these tracks
Okay.
for the most part.
I ain't gonna lie. I'm not gonna expand on it, but I do not like this song. I hate this song. Like if like Post Malone, like I don't like Post Malone like that, but I will admit that he has good songs. And to me, this one is not a good song to me. Like it's too pop to me. Um, it just had that sound that I'm not fucking with. But I digress. Let's move on to the next one.
I mean, that was it. That's the last one.
No, you didn't bring it the last one.
Last one. Let me see.
The one after.
Oh, yep.
Yeah.
About Damn Time by Lizzo.
Man, Lizzo, man. I'm trying to tell you, boy. Like,
big goddess.
She I ain't gonna lie, I was just watching the video too. Like she was looking kind of, I'm saying she was looking decent in the video. I ain't gonna lie to you.
The biggest.
B.I.G.
B.I.G.
Big Lizzo. Now shout
Put some
out.
respect on that name.
Shout
Come on now.
Shout out. No, shout out to Lizzo though, man. I think this is a good record. It's kind of in the same vein as what we was talking about on a previous episode with Silk Sonic with their Leave the Door Open. Like it has this old type of sound to it, quote unquote. So, but it's a good song. It's a good record. I like the video. The things she was saying on the record was kind of interesting. Yeah, it's a real song. Like if the song was for me, I would play it. But I feel like this song is not for me to like play all the time. So, but it's still a good record. I'm gonna say love. I gotta love something today because I already hated the other ones. So, fuck with Lizzo. I'm gonna go ahead and love this one.
Body positive right there. Like that's what we were talking about a little bit earlier. Just Lizzo's always promoting that. I love her energy. I love the song. Man, shout out to Lizzo, man. Thick 30.
Yeah, she was like thick 30. What she say? I can't remember exactly what she said. It was like it's bad bitch o'clock, thick 30 or something like that. Like that's a bar.
I'm with it.
Yeah.
I'm with it. Like I need to be wherever thick 30 is.
No cap. So
yeah.
Let's go ahead and close it out there, man. This has been the Friends Podcast, man. Thank you so much for listening. If you got this far, We
For sure.
appreciate you. And if you listen to this one, go back and listen to another one. Go back and listen to the one right before this, and then go back and listen to the one right before that. Then go back and listen to that. You know what I mean? It's a cycle. So go ahead and do that. Definitely like, comment, subscribe, tell somebody about it. Interact with us. Let us
Yeah.
know what we're doing right and wrong and all that cool shit, man. So, like I said, this
We're
is
on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, YouTube. The Instagram is The Friends Pod. You can always check our link tree. You can contact us directly through email. Send us some questions. But yeah, as always, this is The Friends Podcast. And peace, you guys, and love.
we out.
Appreciate y'all.